Hey everybody, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly with part 2 of our two-part review of the LG Spectrum. I'm going to try to keep this on the short side, so please bear with me. I'm going to kind of fly through things. First of all, I've had a good weekend to work with the LG Spectrum. I absolutely love the monitor, the display that's on this phone. It's crystal clear. I love the size. Of course, it's a 4.5-inch diagonal LCD display. And this uses the in-plane switching technology, the IPS technology, that gives it such good off-axis view. I mean, you can be well off-axis on this phone and see what's going on. So I really enjoy that. It is absolutely crystal clear. I also think, notice I'm getting 5 bars here with 4G. This phone seems to have exceptional reception capability for 4G. I'm deep inside the building. Now I know that Verizon's LTE is supposed to easily penetrate buildings, but I think this is the first phone I've gotten the full 5 bars on. Now I take the full bars with a grain of salt because the manufacturer, LG, could engineer it to simply show 5 bars when in fact it's not getting as strong a signal as any other phone is. But it is a little reassuring to see the solid bars. I use this phone while I was actually driving. I didn't use it while I was driving. My wife used it. She was in the passenger seat. I was driving. She could download music videos and do all sorts of things with the phone as I was driving. Now, of course, you can do that with any phone, but with 4G, she was able to do those things pretty darn quickly. So I really enjoy the big display. It makes a great navigational display, so crystal clear and sharp. So I give the LG Spectrum a big thumbs up for the lovely display that it has. Now, I am a fan of Amoled displays. And of course, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus has a 4.7-inch, okay, it's 4.65, we'll call it 4.7-inch diagonal AMOLED display with the same resolution as the Spectrum. It's 720 by 1280, and that AMOLED display is very nice. I hope to be able to do a schmackdown with that perhaps in a few days, but at the moment, it's the second part of this review on the Spectrum. Now, I've already talked about the 4G, but one of the things I'd like to mention is that you can't easily turn off the 4G. Notice the options here. You can go to airplane mode, GPS. To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what that one is, but it's not turning off the 4G. And that, of course, is the screen orientation and vibrate only. So there is no turn off for the 4G there. The only place I've figured out to turn off the 4G is to go into the wireless and networks, go into the mobile networks, and go into the system select, the network mode, and here I can go to CDMA only and turn off the 4G. That is way too many steps to turn off the 4G, so I'm just going to get out of this and go back. So if you think the LTE, the 4G service, is consuming your battery, it is more difficult to turn this off. Now the Samsung Epic 4G Touch for Sprint, that I can simply drag down the notification bar and dink with one touch turn off the 4G. I have not found anything similarly easy here on the LG Spectrum. Now, on the plus side, I haven't really noticed that the 4G eats the battery life. But what I do notice with the Spectrum that eats the battery life is Wi-Fi. I left the Wi-Fi on overnight and the battery power dropped 30%. So when I turned the Wi-Fi off, the battery consumption was much more gentle. So if you have the LG Spectrum, be very judicious with your use of Wi-Fi. It actually seems to be less battery taxing to be on LTE than it is on Wi-Fi. I mentioned the battery. Now, the Antutu benchmark, I ran the battery test. That's part of the Antutu benchmark. And I'll go ahead and share that score with you. There we go. It got a battery life score of 322. I was hoping, there we can see the battery score ranking. And you can see that it is well down in the stack. Of course, the Motorola Zoom is at the top. That's a tablet with a much bigger battery, as is the Acer Iconia tab as well. But you can see what these other cell phones. Now, once you get down to the cell phone part of this, they're not as outstanding as the tablets are. but even still, the LG Spectrum is not nearly as good as some of these other phones, for instance, the Samsung Galaxy SL. So that's what the battery test score was. Again, that was 322. The only other test, the only other phone that I've run a battery test on is the Samsung Galaxy S2, and I think it got around a 360. So that's what the Antutu benchmark looked like. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the photos that I took. First, I like to set up a little still life on my desk, and here is that still life. Now, I wasn't really knocked out by the contrast that I got from this phone, but I thought it did a pretty good job with the colors. These colors are fairly natural, and the focus was okay. Not spectacular, but okay. Notice that the objects in the foreground are a little soft, but the pin in the background is pretty sharp. So that got a decent focus on this. Now, I also like to do a flesh tone test. And here's the flesh tones that I got with the Spectrum. This is Luis on the left and Jen on the right. And I thought the flesh tones, it did a very good job. Now, it seemed to be a little overwhelmed by the light coming in from the background. Still, I like the sparkle that it put in the eyes, and I like the flesh tone. The focus could be a little sharper. All right, then I took it outside, and I did a video with it outside. Let's go ahead and take a look at that video. Doing an HD video test on the LG Spectrum. It is a cool and clear winter day. Blue sky, look at that nice blue sky. Now the display on the LG Spectrum is visible. I'm in the bright sun and I can see what I'm shooting, but you know, it could always be a little bit brighter. That's the Wirefly building right there. And there is a bit of wind kicking up, so if you hear some rumble in the audio, that's because of the wind, and I'm very curious to see how this video looks and how the audio sounds, so I'm going to take it back in and give a listen. I was very impressed by the video. The quality of the video I thought was pretty good. A little bit of noise in the actual video. That is 1080p video. The audio that I got, now I was holding the phone about 16 inches from my mouth, and I thought that the audio it got was just outstanding. That is the best cell phone audio that I've ever heard. So, and I've tested a lot of phones and done a lot of cell phone videos with audio. Now, the video is very good. The audio is superb. So I'm going to say that the combination of video and audio that I got from the LG Spectrum was really about the best that I've gotten. Very, very nice. It was easy for my editing system to integrate it. I didn't have any problems with it. So very, very good with the video. Now let me talk about a few other things. I had initially said that it was easy to set this phone up with Facebook and for a news feed. I went ahead and did those things, but for the life of me, I cannot get the Facebook to go ahead and sync itself. I go ahead through the process here. I told it to sync the contacts. It spent some time on that, had a little circular thing spinning around and around, and you know, I had the impression that the contacts were going to be synced, but no go. It's not showing my contacts there. Likewise for my news, I had the news, I thought, all set up, and it's not syncing the news for me. So not sure what the problem is there, but it's not working. Now, another thing is that it's got a Google widget here. If you want to do a search on something, I'm not getting Swipe on this phone. Now, it apparently doesn't have Swipe loaded or any other trace typing sort of app loaded. Of course, you can go to the Android market and download a trace typing app and get it on the phone. But I wish it came with Swipe. It doesn't have Swipe. So Swipe is a lot of fun for me. And I noticed also that when I looked up some stuff on the internet on this phone, that occasionally it would just lock up and I couldn't do anything at all. So I was here trying to get to this guy, Mike Rayburn. He's a musician that I admire. And sorry there, Mike, I want you to be quiet there. So I noticed I would get to this and I'd be typing some stuff in, and then it would lock up. And all I could do would be to go back to the main page and get back into the browser again, and then it would allow me to get back in. So it did that multiple times on me, not just once or twice, but 3 or 4 times, enough that I thought it was worthwhile mentioning in this review. Now, my overall opinion of the LG Spectrum is that I love the beautiful display. I love the video. It has nice speed. I'm not turned off by the LG skin over Android 2.3.5. So it has the makings of a very good phone. I think it's one update away from a really, really good phone, the best that's on Verizon. But it's not quite there yet because of the lockup problems I had and because of the issues I have syncing Facebook and the news feed. Not exactly sure what the deal is with those. So I think it's a pretty darn good phone, that it is one update away from being an excellent phone. And if you're interested in the Spectrum or any other phone, please consider Wirefly as your supplier. Wirefly is the largest online retailer in the U.S., and we do a good job with fulfilling orders on phones such as these. So I hope you'll think about Wirefly when it comes time to that. And anyway, I am Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly. Thanks for watching.